Hi. Are you tired of having to pick strategist in your ranked Marvel Rivals games because a bunch of DPS chuds decide that they're hot and that they're going to be the only people that don't have to switch all game, forcing you to play a role you're not familiar with? Well, don't worry. Whether you're new to the strategist role in Marvel Rivals or you're a seasoned veteran who's just looking for ways to improve their gameplay, I've compiled all the things I've learned while playing the strategist role over a very long period of time into a personal guide that is going to make you instantly better at this role in Marvel Rivals. So, without any further ado, let's get into the guide. First thing we need to talk about when talking about the strategist role in Marvel Rivals are the different types of healers you can pick from. Currently, there's about 3 different types of healers. First off, we have what I call primary fire healers. These are healers such as Invisible Woman, Luna Snow, and Gambit. Pretty straightforward, they have the ability to heal with their primary fire abilities. These are typically seen as pretty strong, considering the only thing you need to do from switching from healing allies to attacking enemies is change where your crosshair is placed. Or in the case of Invisible Woman, just change where your body's positioned because you can heal and do damage at the same time. They're good. Our second type of healer are healing over time heroes. Think Mantis and Ultron. Obviously, they don't have the ability to heal with their primary fire, with those being left solely for damage purposes. However, they possess an ability, such as Mantis's Nature Leafs and Ultron's robots, that allow them to heal over time. You're not going to get it all at once, and typically that's why they're seen as less valuable. Our last type is burst healing. The only one I can really think of that comes to mind is Adam Warlock. I mean, sure, Gambit has his Deck of Hearts ability that allows him to burst heal multiple allies at once, but for primary healing, Adam Warlock's the only one that this category really falls into. He doesn't heal with his primary fire, and he doesn't heal over time. He has a burst healing that does actually a pretty good job of healing up pretty much all damage your allies will have taken with the single use of an ability. The major problem that comes in with this is that it's on a pretty decent cooldown, but it's still not an ability or a healer that should be slept on when put in the right hands. Now that you understand the type of healer you're playing, it's time to go in and actually talk about things to do in game in order to improve your performance and start winning more of your ranked games. First things first, the most important thing to do as a healer, and I cannot stress enough just how important this concept truly is, simply staying alive. I mean, it's simple math. If you're not alive, you can't heal. And time spent being dead and walking back from spawn where you're not healing your team is going to be costing your team the round. Simply put, if you have a choice between maybe getting a last little lick of healing in on your tank or DPS or staying alive, stay alive. Who cares what they're typing in the little chat box saying, oh, GG no heals, GG no heals? They're chuds. Do you want to listen to the advice of a chud? No? I don't think so. Stay alive. Most healers have mobility. Gambit's dash, Visible Woman's jump. Even if they don't have mobility, healers like Mantis and Luna Snow have a sleep and a freeze in order to stop any incoming DPS dive or tank dive that's coming to attack them. They have ways of surviving. You simply just need to do what you can at all times to survive. Another good way of staying alive is simply positioning. You don't want to be next to your tank. I don't know why people do this, and I don't know why I see so many strategists doing this. Play behind your tank. There's a reason we call you the back line, because you're in the back. You can't heal again if you're dead. And where's most of the damage coming from? The front. So by staying in the back, you're immediately mitigating the damage you're taking and instead allowing you to continue to heal your tanks and your other DPS from behind to let them do their jobs in taking space, creating space, and overall getting kills in. Because that's not your job. Am I saying you should be a heal bot? No. We'll talk about that later. But healing is your first priority, and you can't do that if you're dead. Stay out of harm's way, stay behind cover, behind your tanks, and more importantly, be ready to get out if things go bad quickly. Do these things, and you'll start staying alive more often. Second most important thing when talking about being a good strategist player in Marvel Rivals is knowing when to use your ultimate ability. I can't tell you the amount of times that people on strategists use their ults and it does nothing for the team. They bring no value. Supports have the strongest ultimates in the game. If you are not getting value with your ultimate, you are simply not playing the character right. Well, how do I know if I'm getting value out of my support ult? There's 3 questions to ask. I have a 3-question step list to ask yourself, is my support ult going to be valuable and get good value for my team? Question number 1, is this going to help me win a team fight? If you are in a battle and it's your team versus the other team, is your support ult going to help you win the team fight? And I don't mean just, oh, is it going to help us win? Obviously, the goal is it's going to help you win. It's, do you need it to win? If you're in the middle of a team fight and your team is whooping up on the enemy team, you shouldn't be using your support ult to quote unquote finish them off. No, your support ult in a team fight should be used when your team is at a stalemate or is losing the team fight to get that bonus health into them so that suddenly they're no longer low. They don't need to start pulling back and they can continue to push forward without having to worry or care about how much damage they're taking. Question number 2, am I going to stall for point? Not all support ults are necessarily needed to stop team fights. Support ults should and can be used to stall for point. Think about it. If it's the end of the game and you just got your support ult right as your entire team died, nothing you can do about that. You've been trying, you've been grinding, and you just happen to get it once everyone's dead, but you know that they're on their way back. Should you support ult on point? Sure, why not? I mean, if you're already going to lose the game, there's no point in trying to keep it alive. By using your support ult to stall out the point, you allow your team to come back and continue the team fight, and now they have to either counter support ult or they're going to lose the team fight. Now you can retake the point and keep yourselves in the match for longer. That is just a way of getting value for your team. And some people think it's not, and people are allowed to think what they think. But in my opinion, if you're using your support ult to stall for points so you can still have a fighting chance of winning the round, that's what you should do. And I'm not saying the very first round of the game, do it. But if it's the last round of the game and you're going to lose if you don't do this, you need this to win, absolutely 100%, you should be stalling point with your support ult. Question number 3 is a really general one, but what benefit do I get out of ulting right now? And that's just something to be thinking in your mind of, okay, maybe we're not in a team fight, maybe I'm not stalling for point. Is there a benefit to me using my support ult? Because here's the other thing. What you shouldn't be doing is just holding on to your ult the entire game. If you have your ultimate ability and you sit on it waiting for the perfect moment, you are throwing your team by not just using it. Not every ultimate needs to be in the perfect moment. Sometimes the best ultimates come from just throwing it out in a mediocre moment. Because here's the thing. If you simply just wait to use your support ult at the opportune time, you're going to lose potential team fights because you didn't think that you needed to do it. So yes, is it slightly contradictory to what I said earlier? I guess. But is there going to be benefit? If you can see the benefit and value, you have to trust your gut instincts. Because ultimately, whether or not it's going to get value is up to each and every person themselves. These are basic guides that most people would agree would give you value, but holding on to it all game is not. So if you've been holding on to your ult for a minute, maybe think about just using it to finish off the next team fight, even if it looks like you're going to be winning. Because again, a mediocre support ult is better than one saved until the perfect time. Last little gameplay tip that I have for you that's really just going to round out this whole thing is going to be your healing prioritization / dealing damage. Starting off with prioritizing your healing, I think it should really go without saying, your tanks need healing the most. If you're not focusing on healing your tanks, you're not playing Strategist right. Tank's job is to literally create space and be a wall that pushes your team forward and keeps the enemy team out. If they're dead, your wall has just crumbled. You need to be keeping your tanks alive so that your wall can stand strong. Because without them, you lose the ability to take space and hold space much more effectively. So number one, you should always be prioritizing your tanks, especially anchor tanks such as Magneto, Doctor Strange, Emma Frost. Tanks with the ability to shield and block damage for the entire team really need to be the focus of your healing, because they're the ones that are going to be helping your team push forward without all instantly just dying out of spawn. Secondly, you should be healing your poke DPS or your DPS that have to stay close to the point. See, Marvel Rivals is not a kill-based game, it is an objective-based game. You should be staying on the point, especially as a support. Now, obviously, if your entire team pushes forward, maybe you should push with them. But still, there are many times where my team just decides that they want to push all the way up, but I stay with point, whether it's convoy or domination. By staying with the point, you're actually making it go faster and either gaining yourself more percent or gaining more meters while standing next to the point. So the people that are staying next to the point, such as poke DPS, who are usually shooting from range and staying sort of in the back line with you, should be the next prioritizing of your healing after your tanks are topped off. And last and not least, come your dive DPS. And I know that's going to piss off all the Black Panther and Spider-Man mains. Oh, how dare you say we're last? It's simple, really. I can't heal you through a wall. As a dive DPS, you have so much mobility that your entire job is supposed to be done without you dying and being able to come to me. I don't have the mobility that you have to get in and get out and heal you the entire time. If you're a dive DPS, you need to be understanding that your healers cannot be diving and pushing back with you, and instead, it is your job to get in, get out, and come to them for healing. And also, you're not as important as the tank that's sitting there on the point because you're typically not on the point. So why would they prioritize you over the tank that's holding the line to defend against the rest of the team on the point? Next is dealing damage. I understand that you're a strategist and your main job is definitely healing. But don't be afraid to get a couple kills in, get some final hits. Don't just be sitting there healbotting, topping off the Magneto over and over and over again. He'll be fine. He's got the health. Again, if he's really, really losing it, then yes, obviously you should prioritize healing him. But if he's pretty good and only taking a couple shots, don't be afraid to, use your Spades deck as Gambit and start throwing out some explosive damage cards. Don't be afraid to start sniping kids from across the map as Mantis. You need to be dealing damage and getting kills in. You're not just meant to be a heal bot, you're also meant to be assisting your team. That's why we call it the support role, not the healer role. You are a support. You need to be supporting your team, not just with healing, but also with damage. Again, there are so many things that go into being a good strategist, and this is really just a very bare bones, basic guide to everything you need to be doing. But I promise you, if you start focusing not just on healing as a strategist, but on also, okay, when can I be getting kills and when do I need to be healing? If you really start to focus on that and get the timing of that down just right, you will become the strategist that everybody loves. And I guarantee you, you'll be getting either MVP every game you win or SVP every game you lose. I promise you. Focus on when to be healing and when to be dealing damage. You should prioritize healing, but do not be afraid to get your licks in when you need to, okay? To end off this video, I'm going to be giving you a strategist tier list of who I personally think are the best strategists in the game right now and who are the worst strategists in the game right now. Obviously, if I pick your main and put him at the bottom of the list, I'm sorry, but there are just some that are currently objectively better in the meta right now than others. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. Starting off, we have Adam Warlock, and I hate to do this because I truly love Adam Warlock. He was the first kind of main I picked up as a healer. I gotta put him in D tier. His mobility isn't great. When I was talking earlier about staying alive, he doesn't have any mobility or any ability really besides Soul Bond to help him stay alive. And that's only useful if your team's around you. Sure, he has his cocoon to, respawn farther back. But that also takes a long, long time to come back off of cooldown. And it's not really, very useful in the grand scheme of things. His healing is also that burst healing, but again, once he's out of charges, it's kind of done. And I really just think that he needs some buffs to currently just compete with the rest of the healers we have in this meta. Cloak and Dagger, honestly, I'm gonna go C tier. They're not a bad healer, but they're part of the I can't aim starter pack. Their healing is okay, their survivability is okay, and their ultimate is also just kind of okay. It's not the greatest of the big support healing ults, but it's also just kind of the worst of them. It's mid, and Cloak and Dagger, again, I played them a lot. They're great healers, don't get me wrong. You can still be really good with them. But I feel like it's just kind of everyone's, oh, we need a strategist. Oh, it's the easiest one to play. But it's not necessarily the best. Jeff the Landshark also going to be coming in at C tier. I'm going to put him a little bit behind Cloak and Dagger. Not necessarily a bad healer by far. But again, he's kind of just interesting in the way he plays. He's not very great at anything, and again, just kind of a we need a healer. Okay, he's pretty easy to play, but he's not necessarily the best. Loki, A tier. Loki, when played correctly, can be an amazing and potentially one of the best healers ever. The reason I'm putting him in A tier is because he does take that like learning curve of what separates a decent Loki from a great Loki is simply just there's such a high skill ceiling with him. That's the reason I'm gonna have to put him at A is because it is hard to pick up. But once you pick up how to play Loki, it's amazing. Luna Snow, gonna move her to A tier as well. Again, not a bad healer by far. She's kind of dropped off. She used to be the best in the game. Now she's just kind of okay. But still, amazingly good healing. It's a primary fire healing. Insane damage. Her freeze ability is good at stopping things like Wanda ults. It's incredibly powerful and still has one of the most powerful support ultimates of all time. But certain nerfs have just kind of dropped her down just a little in the meta. Mantis, B tier. I like Mantis a lot. Do I think she's the strongest in the game? Absolutely not. But she also has one of those similar ultimate abilities to Cloak and Dagger, Luna Snow, and Invisible Woman. It's that super powerful healing ult that can really switch the team fight. And a lot of people like to hate on her healing ability since it is one of the overtime healers that we mentioned earlier. But I don't mind it. I think if you do it well enough and you can kind of stack them up so that one's going right after the other, if you really do a good job, you won't have to worry about it at all. Rocket Raccoon, B tier. Again, not a great healer, but not a horrible healer either. Can really pump out some great healing and great damage, and now that they've reworked his amplifier, I find it to be really strong and really powerful. I truly do enjoy it. But again, just not really remarkable. Nothing to say either about him that's like there's nothing to say about him that's too special. Invisible Woman, easy, S tier. She's pretty much been S tier since she came out. Again, amazingly strong ult, similar to Luna Snow, Mantis, Cloak and Dagger, just instant healing. Her push pull ability can make insane plays. Her ability to just deal damage to the backline by throwing an orb, throwing it in front, going invisible so that nobody can see her but Daredevil. I mean, she just has so much survivability currently in her kit. There's no way anybody could put her anything below S tier. I truly believe that. Ultron, C tier. He's I hate to put him here because he's one of my favorite Marvel characters of all time. But he's just mid. And I've played him and I understand what it takes to be good with him. Don't get me wrong, and I'm not saying you can't be good with him. I'm just saying for the average person, he takes a minute to figure out. His healing's still not great even then, and he's only really super well picked and viable in a triple support comp. And unless you're running it with a squad where you're going to be playing triple support, you're most likely going to get picked with 3 or 4 DPS chuds. And Ultron is not the healer you want to be picking in that situation. He just isn't. And that's just a fact. Last and definitely not least, Gambit. Also S tier. insane survivability. It's truly unmatched. You have a double dash that can be extended with a bash that also heals you, so it's good for fighting off against dive DPS. Then you have a healing deck that can cleanse anti-heals from Venom, Bucky, and other gambits. Plus you have your Spades deck, which increases your damage and then places an anti-heal on other people. And not to talk about your ultimate ability gives everyone in front of you a damage boost, a speed boost, and a healing boost, and an explosion at the end. He's simply surreal. And on top of that, not only does he have his heart stack for his healing and cleansing ability, which has, again, the burst heal option I mentioned was so strong without a Warlock. At that point, you should pick Gambit because he has the same thing but does it better and with other healing and damage opportunities. But on top of all that, he's a primary fire healer, meaning even when all of your abilities are on cooldown, you can still be healing and doing damage with your primary. He is literally become on par, if not better than the Invisible Woman. And I don't think I'm insane or crazy to say that. I really don't. But anyway, that's going to be my tier list for strategists in Season 5.5 of Marvel Rivals. Maybe this will change when the next season comes out. Who knows? But for right now, that's where we're going to put it at. With all that being said, that's going to do it for this support guide. If you guys enjoyed it and found this helpful, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new. And also, if you guys want to see me do a guide for how to be a better tank, how to be a better DPS, let me know in the comments down below. If you want to see individual guides for each of the strategist heroes, I'm more than happy to do that as well. Just let me know what you guys want to see, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.